we need to talk about Materialists. This movie that came out, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago. As grown women, this movie was very interesting, especially the timing of it, everything. But first, hi, I'm Crystal of CrystyleCouture, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. You should like, hit subscribe, and join us. We have a lot of fun over here. So if you haven't seen the movie Materialists yet, do not watch this video because I'm giving you all the spoilers. Just letting you know right now, it's going to be spoilers because we're having an honest conversation. I want to get straight into saying thank you for people putting in the forefront that so many women are getting assaulted on dates. Period. That is something that is happening in record amounts. I don't know if it's over the last 5 years or if it's over the last 3 years, but the number of women getting assaulted on dates has like nearly doubled in the last decade. And I really don't think people talk about it enough. When I say women, I mean all women, all ethnicities, all socioeconomic statuses, all races, everybody. It's becoming more common than most people think. And even on the movie, the boss was like, oh yeah, you know, it happened. It's not your fault. It's not nothing you can do about it. She very much kind of blew it off. Whereas Lucy is completely crushed and devastated by that this can even happen. Boss, totally unaffected. Which lets you know that in a world, especially a world today, where misogyny is at the forefront, men are becoming more aggressive and violent in every way when they don't get what they want. And the reality is, this is part of the reason why so many women do not date. They're fearful for their lives, and I actually can't blame them. So many women who do decide to date will only date in like their circle or people who know somebody who knows somebody. Like, oh, I know this guy, we were friends, went to school together, that kind of thing. Most women aren't dating like in public anymore because so much foolishness is going on. So make sure that you guys are staying as safe as possible, because every time I personally think about going outside, I'm like, nah, I just feel exhausted automatically. So I'm okay. Now that we got that part out of the way, I would like to say that caveman scene in the beginning was genius. It's horribly unrealistic, but genius nonetheless. Making it seem like this caveman went all the way to the forest to get the perfect flowers. Homie has been fighting for his life. He ain't going to get no flowers. He's trying to feed and clothe the community. You remember those times, guys? Different times back then. But I mean, it's good for, you know, fictional purposes and to lay the groundwork for the movie. Which, by the way, I had no clue what this movie was about. I was really not feeling that well. Turned it on, saw 3 actors that I know and like, and I was like, oh, let me see what this is about. And boy, I was shocked. Let's just say that. I was very surprised. I was surprised about the premise of the movie. It all took you by surprise. But I watched it twice. And yes, I have some notes. Before I talk about the characters, let's talk about everyone's unrealistic requirements for their significant others on this show. Like, people were really talking about, oh, I want this person to be fit. I want them to be only this age. Oh, that age is too close to this age. I want them to make this much money, be 6 foot tall. You know, that's all the women always say. I want them to be 6 foot tall and blah, 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 blah. The unrealistic expectations on both parties, men and women, it was atrocious. But bring it to the forefront, because that is the reality. People are out here looking for Build-A-Bear men and Build-A-Bear women, especially that dude who was terrible looking, by the way. Talk about, oh, I like the body of this one. I like the style and how she dresses of this one. Oh, I love this one's face. And I like that this one's hobbies and movie interests. Then build you one then. We in a series of AI right now. Go ahead and build you a little robot woman and just go on about your business, because that's what it seems like. And I'm sure that in a matchmaker setting, that is what they're getting all day. People thinking this is Burger King, have it your way. You got to figure out what is attracted to you and what you're attracted to and where you guys are going to be in the middle. But this movie put all that on blast, which I thought was hilarious. The most common, we've been seeing this for decades, the older man and the younger woman. Oh, this was hilarious. And he was like, oh, no, you know, they're a little immature. I want someone that's 28. And I'm like, really? I don't know why I was surprised, but the fact that he was dead ass, I couldn't do it. I was laughing so hard, because this is really what's happening out here. These old men, and I put old in quotation marks because, you know, to each his own. It's everyone's opinion on how old someone is, what's old. But these older gentlemen that are really running their last races have the audacity to be like, oh, these 30-year-olds, I want a 29 or 28 or 25. Understand, these 20-something-year-olds are running not even circles. We're going to say they're running figure 8s around these 50s and 60s and 70-year-old dudes. you. Kenyatta pay all their bills. Like, I'm not even mad at them. Go and get your bag, sis. I agree. But I'm just saying, you guys are thinking that you're winning because they're not asking too much of you. They don't have that many expectations of you. And, they're not so serious. Their biological clock isn't ticking. When the reality is, just like you're using them, they're using you now, and they're working that bag. My shout out to them girls who are getting those real estate deals, getting them commercial properties off these old men, think that they want to look young with the young girl. Let's talk about the overall theme about how they were kept on saying that, oh, you're going to marry the love of your life versus a theme of you're going to die alone. Let's be clear. Dying alone is very much a choice. Women build communities. That's what women do, especially Black women. So you're not dying alone. You're dying with a few of your closest friends. So that whole idea of people dying alone, please understand that is false. That is made up, and that only you're dying alone if you did not take the time to build a community around your life. Because understand, even if you get married, you can die alone. He can leave you. He can die before you. We all know the chance of the man dying first is way higher than the woman dying first. This dying alone concept that they were trying to push in this movie, please don't fall for it. Build your community, ladies, like we have here, like most of us have with our friend groups. Then I also digress back to the subject of marrying the love of your life. Do understand, most people get married and it's not to the love of their life. Most people are getting married for a whole bunch of reasons, right, wrong, and different. A lot of them get married for money, for power, to build a business, have fame. I mean, you can look at some of your biggest celebrities who they married tend to have pushed them either up or down. You know that as much as I do, but people still be like, oh, you're gonna marry the love of your life. True and false. Most people who marry the love of their life, that love of your life feeling only brings you so far. You have to actually like the person. You have to actually have a compatibility with that person. You can't just be like, oh, I'm married the love of my life, even though y'all not compatible, but you're in love and you feel butterflies, and really all the things you're feeling is anxiety attack, but who am I to tell you any different? So yeah, you can marry the love of your life. It might work out, or you may just be along the long list of people who are divorced from the love of their life because he did not shape up to be who he was supposed to be. He did not grow. His growth was stunted at a certain spot, and instead of you guys growing together, maturing, building all the things, none of that happened. However, there are a few. I'm not going to act like there isn't. There are a few who married the love of their lives, and they worked at their relationship, and they grew, and they got closer as they got older in their marriage and things like that. That does happen. However, a lot of times it's easier for people to get a quick divorce, even though it's not really as quick as they think it is, but then it is for them to do the work and to grow. And that's just the way society has made it. The part where they were having that conversation after she was celebrating like her 9th marriage, and her and one of the other workers were talking about, oh, you're the eternal bachelorette. Oh, we can't find Lucy. Is it Lucy? Sophie. Whew, couldn't think of it. We couldn't find Sophie a date because she was not niche enough. And in this current market, I mean, y'all were really comparing humans to basically houses or cars or some sort of material item. And that part for me was a bit much. However, I understand that it is a business for them. Was it too much for you? That I need to know. Make sure you comment below. And while you're there, don't forget to like the video. But the thought that Sophie didn't have any standout qualities. Everybody has a standout quality. No matter what you may believe, you have some standout qualities. Every single person does. So I just thought that whole conversation, that part was interesting. It was so false because people are people. They're humans. We have standout qualities. We have things that make us different from everybody else. Our gifts, our God-given gifts, those are things that make us different. However, most people can't see past the cosmetics to get to that part to where your gifts may be, because everybody's gifts aren't vanity. And of course, I cannot leave that scene without talking about how extra 6 inches can raise a man's value. They're not wrong. I need everybody to understand that everybody wants a taller man. A taller man feels more confident in himself than a short man, even though a lot of short men do have Napoleon complexes. And the fact they were talking about the surgery. Now, here's the thing about the surgery. Do I mind people getting the surgery? I think that's what you want. If you got the extra $200K lying around and you want to invest in yourself, so be it. I invest in myself. My issue is for a lot of women who are gene picking. Normally, when you're in like your childbearing ages, 19 to 50, and you're looking for a man to mate with, to have a child with, do understand that if you have a child with a man who had that surgery, your child is probably going to be short, and short like shout. Do not think that just because you have a husband that is 6 foot because he had the surgery, because he had extra 200K, that your child's going to be 6 foot. Your child will probably be 5'8", 5'7", 5'6", and it will be interesting to see how that works. Which kind of brings me me to like when people change up their body and their faces so much and then they have kids and their kids look nothing like them, kind of like how the Kardashians are. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works out in like the long run, but I do think that people need to take that into consideration. Having a taller man, people like that. I can't lie to you, I like a man that's 6 foot or taller. Most women do, for numerous reasons that we need a whole nother video to discuss, because this video would easily be 2 hours long. Getting the surgery is a vanity metric and men like to have it. There's so many surgeries that men can have now. Just like they talk about how women's fake and this is fake and this and that. Like, men are purchasing 6-pack abs and bigger calves and all kind of things. So of course there's a surgery to make them taller. Duh. This is the medical world in the 21st century. Is it 21st century? Now that I say that, I don't know. The 21st century? Is that what we're in? Of course you're going to find ways to make vanity top priority. Just like women like to look good, men like to look good too. Let's look at the characters, shall we? My favorite character was Harry. Yes, Pedro Pascal. He always gives super mature man to me, and in this role it was no different. He gave a man who had an opinion. He also gave a man who was extremely bored with his life, who just really wanted to get the whole marriage thing out of the way with somebody that seemed to be just good enough for him to be married with. He's gonna be cool. He's probably gonna be that guy that be married to her for the rest of his life. I'm like, I'm cool, this works out. So you felt like he was working too hard to do it. That's why in that scene where he was like, oh, love, it's exhausting, I can't do it, I feel stupid. Yeah, because he was trying to just hurry up and get past that part. And to be honest, I can't be mad at him, but I sometimes wish I could hurry up and get past that part too. Just like, yeah, you look good, let's figure this out, let's have a good partnership. Because in his mind he was like, look, I can make your life better, you're what I'm looking for, you're pretty, you're all the things, you have intangibles. Now I have to pause for a moment to talk about that scene. The scene where they're at the dinner table and he was flat out like, you are speaking to me like I am a caveman. I am very aware of how the world works. I want someone who knows how the world works. And he was really given all the things that us modern, I said that quotation marks because people say it so much, us modern women like to hear, is that, oh, a man that respects us, a man that sees us as more than just a vanity metrics, a pretty thing to have on his arm. I mean, he wanted my book for all of that because it actually made perfect sense. Like, I can find any rich girl that likes me. They're a dime a dozen, because they are a dime a dozen. I'm sorry. Sorry. But he wanted something deeper, because he wanted something that he knew would last a long time, not something that would fade over time like looks. Whereas Lucy was like, oh, you can do better than me if you marry someone that's 30, da 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 da. We know that song and dance, we see it all the time. Rich man marries extremely young girl, they have a baby within like the first 30 seconds or 2 years. There's 20,000 of those stories. Like, show me something different, especially in today's day and age. Show me a man who's picking a woman because he feels like she is his equal, he respects her, feels like she knows more than him and can add value to his life more than just being something nice to look at and lay down with. That is something that we all want to hear in our lives, at least most women. I can only speak for myself, but let me know if you feel that way too. And yes, he was insanely rich, which I don't care what anybody tells you, money makes everything better. It is the tool that helps you live the life that you want to live. And if you don't have enough money, everything is harder for no reason. But when you do have enough money, and more than enough money, things seem a little easier. Stress is a little less, in theory. Now, I know someone's gonna go in the comments and be like, well, rich people have problems too. Yeah, they do. Like, where to park their yacht, what country they're gonna take vacations in. The problems are not the same as people who are middle to low income, surviving day to day. They can't even eat healthy foods. You're working nonstop, which is killing you. You're not getting enough rest. Enough about Harry. Let's talk about John. Does everybody know a John? Everyone should know a John. Everyone has a John in their life. Johns are large in number. There's a whole bunch of Johns. A very nice guy. He loves you. He adores you. He's gonna treat you right. But he's broke. He's chasing a dream, or he's trying to build something. He doesn't have the means to supply anybody, including himself, with a decent life, especially with these inflated prices. You know, he gives Old Faithful. It's not really a practical choice in this day and age, but he does give warm and cozy. He gives safe, and sometimes safe will have you poor and broke in a 1-bedroom apartment in the hood eating terrible for 40 years. I'm just saying. But Chris Evans playing that part was interesting because he looked a lot older. I'm thinking Captain America, he's always looking good, but he's aging. It's happening, guys, right before our eyes. But John just can't seem to get his shit together, point blank period. And it's been years, because in the movie he's 37 37, so he's almost 40, still can't seem to get it together, which in reality, having your life together before 40 is false. It is a lie that they push people to believe to get y'all to work harder, to be honest. You're still figuring things out, and he's still figuring things out because he can't even afford his own life, let alone a girlfriend or a wife. And then there's Lucy. Lucy, a very charismatic matchmaker. She's good with people, which is why she's so good at that job. She's a high-level customer service worker. However, I do feel like she has her own insecurities about herself and about what she thinks she deserves, how she felt about her upbringing, if she came from a poor house and had debt, that she should marry someone poor. All the things that are untrue and that people should not believe, which is the scary part about this movie. Like, young girls are gonna watch this and be like, oh, well, I should aspire to marriage or stay where I'm at because I started in a poor household and I'm gonna stay there, or I'm just gonna take care of myself and not do it on my own. Like, it was just like some interesting messaging being brought up throughout the whole movie. And Lucy's character was like, it was a big red flag for me. In the scene of her talking to her friend outside the window, they were like, oh, you're the eternal bachelorette. But she actually wasn't, because she was in a 5-year relationship with John before she said, oh, taking a break, let me just get my stuff together, where you got your own stuff together because you knew that you needed money to survive, because again, money is the tool to build the life that you want. But I do feel like she never took the time to work on her own insecurities about herself, which came to light towards the end of the movie, where she admits that she's materialistic and she's judgmental and she's cold. All the things that the powers that be try to paint independent women as, which is false as well, which is why I didn't really like that scene. I felt like her saying that about herself was something that they believe about modern women anyway, which is totally false. Most of us are very loving, we're very non-judgmental, but we also know that we need money to survive. I mean, damn, a 1-bedroom apartment in Atlanta right now is running $2,000, and to even qualify that, you have to make what, 2.5 times that rent by yourself? You're gonna have to have money to live. Period. The other messaging that I didn't like at all, that scene beginning scene where she goes into the bride's room and the bride's like, I don't want to get married. You know, I could have chosen to be anything, but I chose to be a bride because it made me feel that all the things. It made me feel valuable to be chosen as a bride. That is interesting. I don't think I would ever feel that way. But then again, if you were raised in a household that pushed you towards a goal to be chosen, to be married, then I understand how you put your worth in the same box as a marriage checklist. Marriage is great. I totally believe in marriage. I would love to get married. So many people who are married like it. Other people do not. But I do not think that should be your whole goal and primary focus in life, because it may be a little disappointing. It may not be what you thought it was. It may not live up to those high expectations that you put it in. But I felt like that was a goal. It was like, oh, everyone dates because they just want to get engaged, to be married, to not die alone. Those 3 concepts were pushed a lot. And the fact that they only had 1 black woman on the entire show, maybe 2, that's not realistic. New York is a very mixed, multicultural, multiracial place. So they should have had a little bit more diversity in this movie. Let's put that out there right now. But when you're only talking to a certain demographic about them getting married, then yes, you leave out all of the other types of people in the world. When Lucy was in the car with John and she had those flashbacks about her relationship prior, that was her intuition. That's your female intuition saying, don't go back. Don't do that. It was a train wreck the first time. Don't do it again. And a lot of us don't listen to that intuition. And she didn't either, even though she kind of wanted to listen but kind of didn't. Because yes, you were yelling at this man in the street because he didn't have any money to park the car for your 5-year anniversary. Probably don't want to go back there. Doesn't look like much has changed, because she got in the car and said, oh, it smelled the same. It was the same. Nothing had changed, but you still decided to go back there. But I will say this about that scene. Let me tell you from personal experience, when she said, don't worry, I'll just pay for the parking. Ooh, and John got so mad. Yeah, never do that, ladies. Never say that you'll pay. It really rubs him the wrong way. However, I will say this. I actually appreciate that it rubs him the wrong way, because men have changed so much in the last 10 to 15 years that if it doesn't rub them the wrong way, you should probably run quickly. Going back to that scene where she was talking to the bride and she was like, what's the real reason you want to marry him? And she said, because it makes her sister jealous. Whoo! I'm gonna tell you right now, I've always believed this. Women don't do anything really for men. They do everything to compete with other women, because that is how society has raised women to compete with each other. So it wasn't even shocking to me when she said, it makes my sister jealous just because he's taller than her husband, he makes more money than her husband. I said, out there it is. Women do everything for women. You guys have all heard the sound on TikTok where she's like, I don't do nothing for y'all for the male gaze. I do everything for the bitches. That sound is the truth. Most of us do stuff for other women. Like, I want to dress good so, me and my friends can look cute. We're not thinking about men in the least. We're thinking about other women, thinking about our friends. Oh, you want to wear this? Does this look good? We're not thinking about impressing men in the least. That's usually just a side quest that just happens to happen because when you look good, you feel good, and they're impressed by that. But we don't do nothing for the male gaze. Nothing for the male gaze. I also didn't care for the fact that there was so much smoking in this movie. Like, for real, people are still smoking. Smoking will kill you. Not to mention, have you seen the cost of a pack of cigarettes? It's like $10, $12 for a pack. Like, who can afford that? It's a bad habit. It's a habit that they push towards poor people. But I felt like in this movie, they had all the people who were like middle to lower class were the people who were smoking. Like, you didn't see those brides, those rich women smoking. You didn't see the rich men smoking. You saw the lower class people smoking, which I thought was interesting and kind of like a side thing that they just kind of slid in there. Let me know your thoughts on that. Something else that I thought was said kind of in passing that they did not put enough emphasis on, because they put enough emphasis on the foolishness, was who you marry determines your entire life. It determines how happy you'll be. It determines how much money you'll be able to make. Who your partner is, who you choose, determines a lot about your life. Same thing as if you don't choose anybody, it determines a lot about your life. And I think that aspect is what people seem to forget when they're choosing, because you're choosing this person for the long haul, and this person can either build you up and bring joy, happiness, growth to your life, or it can tear you completely down. I mean, again, just look at some of the stars. Look at Nicki Minaj. I mean, words can't even express how far she has fallen after marrying that person. There's a lot going on there. But who you pick as your partner determines everything about your life moving forward. A message that I think people really should pull from that movie, as opposed to all the foolishness, like how expensive and how unrealistic the wedding industry has gotten. Like, these people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for weddings, and the marriages may not even last 7 years or 5 years. That industry is out of hand. But I guess when you got it, it doesn't matter. It's all for the show, for the looks. The movie just put a lot of different things in perspective, but in like the wrong ways than the right ways, especially for it coming out right now in a time where this administration does not like women, where the idea of the modern women, which is why I keep saying in quotation marks, because it's false. We're all modern women because we're all born and raised in a time where we have rights. We can do things on our own. We can figure out our lives by ourselves. We can own our own homes, do all the things, have jobs. We're making hundreds of thousands more than men because we can, because we're smarter, because we're smarter. Because we're smart enough, because we're strong enough, because we are the smarter sex. Sorry, not sorry. So if you haven't seen Materialist, it's on HBO Max. Check it out. Let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you like conversations like this. I have a lot of opinions, good, bad, and indifferent, but a lot of them. So let me know what you guys think. See you soon.